You can go ahead and close that door now. Everyone, my name is Louis Quintana. I'm the pastor here at New Hope Family Church. We're providing a venue for today's Judicial Candidate Forum, and just happy to provide this as a venue and just honored to have all the candidates here. So I just wanted to express my gratitude for saying yes and being a part. Special thanks to Lynn Petersdorf, who has organized this as our event coordinator. Thank you, Lynn, for helping and putting it together. We will turn it over shortly to our moderator, and he'll give some guidelines and instruction on what's going to happen tonight. But first, I'd like to do a little prayer and invocation, and then we'll start with the flag salute. So will you bow your heads with me? Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this opportunity to provide this forum to Fresno County and beyond, and we're grateful for the opportunity to have bold and courageous candidates that step in to provide input and insight, Lord, into who they are and what they're about. And we're grateful to provide this live stream for those that are watching in to make an educated decision on who to put forward on their ballot. So we ask for your presence. We ask for your peace. We ask for integrity and honesty and the truth to be shared tonight with each question that's answered. And we're just so grateful for this opportunity for tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. Will you stand for the flag salute? You ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Tonight's going to be moderated by Kevin Cookingham. He doesn't need an introduction. If those of you know him, he's a great guy. I'm just going to invite him up to the podium. Kevin, the night's yours. Thank you.
If you're watching here this evening, this is a live feed. I'm going to give you the rules so you know what's going on. And this is really important that we have these people that are candidates for judgeships here in Fresno County, because a lot of times when it comes time to vote, many of the people that are voting know very little about those that are running for judge positions in this county. So happy to have, it could be 10, but right now 9 different people that are candidates for these positions. The opening statements, each person will have 2 minutes, and then for each question, 1 minute. We'll have one person up there and another person on deck, so we move quickly along. This will last about an hour and 10 minutes. And then we will be finishing up. I'll be rotating questions so that the first person isn't up every time. There'll be kind of a gap between different people so that they can think through some of their answers and not always be the first one up. There will also be a 15-second warning that one of our people here up front, Lynn, will be holding up to let them know that they have 15 seconds left to finish off. So at this time, we're going to bring up Mark Capitan, and he's going to have his 2-minute opening, and then on deck will be Ashley Paulson.
Thank you, Kevin and Lynn and everybody from New Hope. Pastor Lewis, thank you very much. My name is Mark Capitan. I've been practicing for 34 years. The significant thing about this for me is that my very first trial was 34 years ago here in Selma. Judge Ishii was the judge. One of the persons that I went against was Jennifer Smith right over there. And it was just a sweet time, because at the time, and it's sort of lost, that there's a sense of accountability and justice that is sort of lost in California these days. And when someone asks me why am I running for judge, it's specifically for that. I'm close to retirement age, quite honestly. And I'm doing this because I want to bring accountability back to Fresno County. I'm endorsed by Sheriff John Zanoni, Margaret Mims, Lisa Smitkamp, the district attorney, Buddy Mendez, your supervisor. And, I would ask for your vote this June 2nd. Like I said, I love Selma. We used to go to Dino's Bakery back in the day and get snacks to bring back to the courthouse. And there is just this sense of accountability, not only for the defendants and the convicted, people convicted of crimes, but also for the judges. We owe it to you citizens to bring accountability back to the victims and to you, the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Vote June 2nd, please.
Thank you.
Question now, or do I?
No, you just have, it's your opening statement, 2 minutes. And on deck will be Stephen Olson. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Ashley Paulson. I am running for Fresno County Superior Court Seat 6. First, I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a daughter, and I have been a prosecutor for 11 years. Currently, I am the Chief Prosecuting Attorney at the Fresno City Attorney's Office, supervising a team of prosecutors. Prior to that, I was at the Fresno District Attorney's Office for 10 years. For the first 5 years of my time there, I was a Deputy District Attorney. For the last 5 years of my time there, 2020 to 2025, I was a Senior Deputy District Attorney. I spent the majority of my career focusing on complex litigation. I was on MAGIC, the Multi-Agency Gang Enforcement Consortium, and simultaneously, I was on the officer-involved shooting team and the in-custody death team. I handled cases such as human trafficking, attempted homicide, home invasion robberies, kidnapping, and torture. Most, if not all of those cases, involved multiple defendants within each case. I have spent my career honoring the Constitution, seeking justice, and advocating for victims. But great justice does not just come from great prosecutors. It also comes from great judges. We need judges who are fair, who are prepared, who are timely, and who bring professionalism and respect to everyone, inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom. My commitment to this role is not only rooted in my legal experience, it is also rooted in my family and the values that have shaped me. I'm running for Fresno Superior Court Judge for my family, for my children, and for this community. So when you go to vote, please vote for Ashley Paulson for Fresno County Superior Court Judge, Seat 6. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen, come on up. And then on deck, we're going to have Rosalina Nunez for your 2-minute opening statement.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Olson. I am running for Superior Court Judge in Seat 6 here in Fresno County. Currently, I am a Senior Deputy District Attorney with the Fresno County District Attorney's Office. I've been with that office now for a little over 11 years. My current assignment, I am the lead attorney on our office's major DUI prosecution unit. So we prosecute major injury and fatal DUIs. In my time at the office, I won't say that I've handled homicides. What I will tell you is that I have prosecuted over 55 homicides through conviction in my time at the office, which I believe is currently more than any of my coworkers at the office. During the length of this campaign, since I filed in March, I've secured 4 more convictions on homicide cases and taken 2 murder cases to trial, which included 2 murder verdicts in less than an hour. My commitment to the administration of justice in this county has not stopped, even since I have started this campaign process. But aside from what I have done in the courtroom, where I continue to be every day, I am also connected to the community here in Fresno County. I have connected myself outside of the community, not just as a result of this judicial race, but for the last 15 years. I have been coaching a high school mock trial team here in Fresno County for the last 15 years. I have been involved with the Down Syndrome Association of Central California and was the board president of that organization, and I've been on the board or the advisory board for that organization for 14 years. I'm also involved with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, where I am on their Northern California advisory board and have been since that board was formed, as well as MAD's, Mothers Against Drunk Driving's legislative consulting team, which helps to draft legislation. Most importantly, one of the hallmark pieces of legislation just got past the Public Safety Committee, SB 907, to help hold impaired drivers who kill people accountable. Aside from that, in terms of endorsements, the most proud I am is of my wife and children. I have 2 daughters. and that of the Prosecutors Association. The individuals who have worked with me for the last several years gave me their endorsement. Please vote for me on June 2nd for Superior Court Seat 6. Thank you.
Thank you. For those of you watching while Rosalina makes her way up here, for Seat 3, we have Mark Capitan and Rosalina Nunez. Seat 6, Ashley Paulson and Stephen Olson, who you just heard. And so we're going to have Rosalina now.
Thank you for having me. I'm Rosalina Nunez. I have been an attorney for the last 16 years. I have practiced right here in Fresno. My office is in Finn Garden Village. And during that time, I have represented business bankruptcies, people facing one of the hardest crises that they could face, financial crisis. I've also represented families through family law, divorce, child custody, child support, another huge crisis that the average person goes through. And I've also represented people in disability in front of the Social Security disability, where I have helped injured and disabled workers obtain their benefits that they've paid into their entire life. And I am very proud of that work. It has been extremely rewarding representing regular people, working families that go through these things that they could never imagine, but it happens. It happens to the best of us. And that's been extremely rewarding. However, the last 3 years I have dedicated to serving seniors over the age of 60. I have offered free legal services through Legal Aid, where I have offered representation to seniors that are facing eviction, online scams, which is the fastest growing crime in the country. Our seniors are extremely vulnerable, and I have helped them defend them through eviction defense, online scams, working directly with district attorneys and the FBI. I have also helped them face financial crisis issues through consumer debt. And I am also very proud of being from the Valley. I was born and raised in Dos Palace, a Fresno State graduate and San Joaquin College of Law graduate. I continue to serve on the board, the alumni board. I am Rosalina Nunez. I am running for Judge Seat 3, and I covet your vote on June 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up now, Curtis Salk for Seat 7, and then on deck will be Eddie Ruiz, Seat 9. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Curtis Salk. I'm running for Judge Seat number 7 of the Fresno County Superior Court. I believe that I have the most diverse working and personal background. My family is from South Korea. I'm the first generation immigrant. My father and mother worked anything came their way, just as most immigrants do. And they taught me, if you work faithfully, if you work hard, with honesty, you will earn better opportunity. And that's why I'm here today. I've been an attorney for 27 years. I work to defend constitutional rights and due process rights of ordinary people every day from the same side for the last 27 years. I have earned respect from my colleagues and prosecutors. I'm endorsed by Assistant District Attorney Tracy Fritzler, former Chief of Homicide Deborah Miller, and former Chief of Violent Crime Unit, now currently a Judge Robert Whalen, as well as Judge Irene Luna. Before I became an attorney, I was working in the real world. After college, I worked for the blue chip company IBM as a marketing representative. After that, I worked for a small garment manufacturer in Los Angeles, and I learned how small business work on a thin margin. I honor small business because they hire 2-3 people, but those people go back home, feed their children, and send their kids to school. I've also learned what happens when government fails. During the Los Angeles riot in 1990s, I defended our family business, our family, with armed citizen group. I believe that I'm the most diverse, experienced attorney. I believe that I worked with small business, large business, regular people so I believe that I can be a fair and equal judge to everybody. Please vote Curtis Saw. Thank you.
Eddie Ruiz up, and Noel Pabet on deck, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Eddie Ruiz. I'm running for Fresno Superior Court, seat number 9. I am a lifelong resident of Fresno County. I was raised about, 10 miles west of here in the small town of Easton on a farm. I think that's where I learned my basic values of hard work and standing next to my dad on a daily basis and my siblings, learning the ideals of working hard and eventually getting educated. I attended local schools, including Fresno State and San Joaquin College of Law. I later took the bar, passed the bar, and have been an attorney for the last 30 years. I've been in private practice for approximately 28 years. I have handled many types of cases, including cases of probate, family law, civil litigation, criminal defense. I've handled federal and state cases as well. I've been fortunate enough to have done very well in terms of my private practice. For 30 years, I've been advocating for my clients. I've been fighting passionately for my clients and protecting their rights and assisting them in their issues of troubles. I've been very proud of that. That has allowed me to, and the legal profession has allowed me to raise 3 children. My daughter's here today. My wife couldn't be here, she's working, but 25 years married, 3 children, and a year and a half ago I was proud to say that I'm a grandfather. For all of those reasons, I am running for Superior Court judge because after 30 years of advocating for my clients, I'm in a position where I'd like to give back to my community. Although I've given back to my community in many ways, whether it be coaching Little League, football, basketball, all those things, I've also been lucky enough to be elected at a local school board at Washington Unified School District, and I've sat there for about 8 years now. I also was appointed at San Joaquin College of Law as an attorney or as a trustee there too. And so I want to continue to give back to my community. Please vote Eddie Ruiz, seat number 9.
Thank you. Noel Pebet. On deck is Miles Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank Hope for the Valley and the New Hope Family Church for sponsoring this event. I truly appreciate the time and effort that went into this. My name is Noel Pebet. I've been serving this community for 19 years. I've been a Fresno County Superior Court Commissioner for 7, where I am seated as a judicial officer currently. I've been doing that for now 7 years. I've handled assignments such as civil limited, which is evictions, small claims, harassments, small claims appeals. I've handled a heavy calendar, a misdemeanor calendar for 2 years, a domestic violence calendar for 1 year, and I'm also in child support. So I've actually had the role of a judicial officer now going on 7+ years. I've been doing the work that I'm running for, just running for to do more of the work that I'm doing. 12 years prior to that, I worked with the Fresno County District Attorney's Office. I worked my way up after 5 years to the gang unit, where I was the first female prosecutor in almost a decade to be assigned to that unit, and where I thrived for 3 years, becoming this lead attorney before I left. I moved on to the homicide unit for 4 years, where I practiced serious homicide cases and to several to conviction through jury trial, and I also handled a death penalty case. In addition to my legal work, I actually work with the community. I've been a Fresno Basque Club board member for over 5 years. I'm very proud of my Basque roots. My family's roots go back to 1900 when my great-grandfather came here as a sheep herder. Additionally, as I've been on the bench, I've also worked with the mock trial. I was a coach for several years. I had to transition over, however, to handling the judges. I arrange all the judges for the competition. And then I also work with the youth court program, which I'm very proud of, where we take the court to the students on their high school campus. I believe that I'm the most qualified for my position, and I would appreciate your vote on June 2nd, seat 9, Noel Pabet. Thank you.
On deck, Jennifer Smith. Coming up right now, Miles Harris.
Thank you, Lynn, for organizing this event. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, New Hope Church. I've been in practice for over 20 years and been in Fresno County for the last 15. And I want to talk to you about the importance in this election, and electing judicial officers in particular, of balanced experience. I think sometimes we forget that over half of the judges that sit on our bench don't address criminal law matters. We also forget that many of us that are listening to this live stream, many of us hopefully never will end up in criminal court, but will end up in the other courts. And that is why you want someone with that other experience. My experience began as an educator. I taught law at the university level. That's important for a judge because that's where I learned to teach and explain the law. I served as a court-appointed mediator. That's important because as a mediator, I had to bring the parties together and help them resolve their disputes. I served as a corporate transactional attorney. Ooh, desk work. But when I was doing that, I served major corporations and I drafted very technical agreements. And that's important because in being a judge, you have to know how to write. I've been a litigator for the last 15 years, consistently awarded Fresno Bee's Best of the Central California People's Choice for Family Law and Criminal Law. I hope to get your support. I hope you vote Miles Harris, seat 12. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up also for seat 12 is Jennifer Smith. On deck, Jennifer Hamilton. Right. Jennifer Smith up right now, but Jennifer Hamilton on deck. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for presenting this for everyone today. My name is Jennifer L. Smith, and I am a Senior Deputy District Attorney here in Fresno County at the DA's office. I am born and bred here in Fresno, and as mentioned earlier by Mark Capitan, I was a DA here in the Selma Parlor area for 2 years. Along with that assignment, I also served in misdemeanors, felony trials, welfare fraud, community liaison. I was the first deputy in the Fresno County to establish a truancy prevention program with other agencies for 4 years. It was so successful that it was given the CLEPS Award by the Judicial Council for the best overall truancy program, beating out 57 other counties. I have also served during a period of time when I had left the DA's office as a judge pro tem, where I gained judicial experience, learned how to have the judicial temperament, and also to know how to listen to people. And that way you get to be able to sit down, know what's going on, and to provide that type of voice that they want to have, where everyone can be heard, which is very important. Even before the DA's office, I had experience working with the Internal Revenue Service for 2 years. I was a tax law specialist where I had to understand how benefit plans were put together. I've also served in my family's funeral home business, Sterling and Smith, where I became a licensed crematory manager. So I had to understand how to run a family business with siblings. And if anyone knows how to run a family business with siblings, good luck, because that was a challenge, but it was worth it. I'm running for seat 12. I also have endorsements. Please look at my website, Jennifer Smith for Judge. I would appreciate your vote on June 2nd. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, Jennifer Hamilton up. On deck is Eddie Ruiz.
All right, thank you so much, Pastor Quintana, for inviting us here. Mr. Cookingham for moderating, for Hope for the Valley New Hope Family Church for organizing this and orchestrating this. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and I'm sure the other candidates appreciate it too. I want to specifically thank everybody who tunes in and watches this, this proceeding. I think it's hard to know who to vote for when the judicial ballots come out. There are 7 open seats. That's a lot of seats for Fresno County. And so the fact that viewers are educating themselves is just amazing, and I'm very appreciative. My name is Jennifer Hamilton. I am running for seat 14. I am a Superior Court Commissioner. I've been a commissioner for a little over 6 years. So the question I get almost every day is, what's the difference between a commissioner and a judge? So a commissioner is hired by the judges on the Superior Court to sit as a judge. So I was hired by my colleagues a little over 6 years ago to run a courtroom. I currently sit in a family law department. I'm in Department 202. I conduct daily calendars. I have a domestic violence calendar, an elder abuse calendar. I run case management conferences. I make rulings on child custody cases, on property division, and on spousal and child support. I do this every day. I'm also the supervising judicial officer of the Family Law Division. There are 10 separate courtrooms of judges and commissioners that I supervise on top of my daily calendar. I love what I do. Prior to being hired for the bench, I've been in Fresno for about 30 years, a little under 30 years. I have devoted my life completely to the public sector. I've been a deputy district attorney. I've been a public defender. I've represented children and family in juvenile and child dependency hearings. I've been on both sides. I believe that I'm the most qualified because I have the temperament, I have the patience, I follow the rule of law, and I am prepared. Please look at my endorsements on my website. I'm endorsed broadly by community leaders, by law enforcement, and by over 90% of the bench. Vote Jennifer Hamilton, seat 14. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you're watching here this time with the different people running for candidacy of judges, you might want to take some notes so you remember who the people are and what seat they're running for. So I think that'd be good. Our next question, this is going to put you on the, up here ready to go immediately. The next question is this: our courts are overloaded. Do you have any recommendations to streamline processes and make our system more efficient without more financial resources or compromising what is right?
I come from the public sector. I've been in private practice for 30 years, or nearly 30 years. I've also ran a separate small business in my farming business. And so those of us in the private sector understand the value of time. And I was talking to somebody yesterday at a meet and greet about how I think our judges could continue to do, and I think some judges do a good job of this, but there's too many judges who are not coming out on time. For example, calendars are generally start at 8:30 in the morning. Many of our judges, unfortunately, come out after 9:30. Now, there's at times reasons for that. But I think the answer to the question is, I think if we could try as a bench to do a better job in being more efficient. We have to remember, each of those individuals who are coming down in the courthouse have their own lives. So I think we as judges, judicial officers, could do a better job in running their courts more efficiently, and that'll save much more time as well. Thank you.
Up next is Noelle Pabet. On deck, Miles Harris. Yep.
Hello. So for me, it's a short answer. It's preparedness. Every day I come to work and I am prepared. I spend the time reviewing my cases, reading the motions, and coming in so that I can devote all of my time and attention to the parties. What's been an issue is the preparedness of parties in front of me, and that includes sometimes attorneys, with repeated requests for continuances regarding matters that they've been continued over and over before. So I hold the parties accountable. I ask for reasons as to why we continue cases. I make notes regarding those so that if I hear it again, I know. But it comes down to preparation. I wish we had more resources. We don't. So we have to use the time that we have the best way that we can, and that is being more efficient, more prepared, and ready to go on your cases. Thank you.
Thank you. Miles Harris is up. On deck, Jennifer Smith.
I appreciate the answers of both of my colleagues. I think it does involve courtrooms being on schedule. But I think it also involves judges. A good judge should get the best out of the practitioners that practice in front of them, on both sides. Sometimes that's holding them accountable. Sometimes that's teaching opportunities. But oftentimes, attorneys are coming into court or parties are coming into court and they haven't talked at all before. Last court, they didn't talk until they got to court. This court, they didn't talk before they got to court. That's part of this continuation and cases going on forever. Attorneys in whatever area of practice should be discussing the case before they come in the courtroom. Parties in a civil practice should be discussing the case before they come in the courtroom.
Thank you. Jennifer Smith, seat 12, and then Jennifer Hamilton on deck.
It is important to have your cases ready and to know what the cases are about. It is important that a judge knows what is going on, how long a case has been on calendar, and to hold both parties accountable. It is always good to do what we call a chat, making sure that everybody knows what is expected of them for the next court hearing, and to let them know that there is a time limit of trying to get these cases resolved. But we also have to look at the law and respect the law. So long as they are able to justify what they need to do to continue a matter and it is appropriate, then cases unfortunately can continue on. What we need to do without the resources, which we don't have, is just try to make sure that everyone is aware of a time limit and there is an impact on the community, on the justice system, and on victims as well. Thank you.
Jennifer Hamilton. Curtis Sock, you're on deck.
I think all the candidates have had fantastic ideas. There certainly isn't one perfect answer for how to handle the increased caseload, the increased demand, all while trying to remain fair, impartial, and give everyone their day in court. I can tell you what I have noticed in my own courtroom in the past several years is with the usage of Zoom or remote appearances, the usage of court call or telephonic appearances really helps keep calendars going, really provides another avenue for people who wouldn't maybe be able to come to court, and I think expedites cases. And so in addition to what my colleagues have mentioned, I do find that those are very useful. Plus, it provides access to parties that just can't make it to court, and I think that more people are able to be participatory in that process.
Thank you very much. All right, while Curtis Sock is coming up, on deck will be Stephen Olson. And the question is this: how would you handle a situation if you discovered a colleague or attorney had acted unethically?
Well, you know, we have a very small community in Fresno County. Everybody knows each other. Either try the cases together, argued before, or get at each other's throats sometime. We've all had experience. I would first summon the attorney to the chamber and have them come clean, talk to him about it. And I will also consult with the other colleagues on judges board to understand what limits do I have in order to resolve these issues. But ultimately, if I'm obligated to report, I'll have to report. But I'm also hoping that that attorney or whoever had ethical violation can rehabilitate himself or herself and join us again. That will be my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen? On deck, Ashley Paulson.
So I have always believed that character is doing what is right regardless of whether you think somebody is going to see it. First, I would have the hope that acting in a role as a judicial officer, and I will say this about every candidate you're hearing from today, you're not hearing random attorneys. These are all excellent attorneys in Fresno County. I would expect nothing from anybody here. I would expect nothing from anybody on the bench in this regard. But I think the first thing that would happen is if you find out that something unethical occurred, the important thing is maintenance of the integrity of the bench. Because if the public does not believe in the judiciary, the judicial system cannot work. In that regard, if I found out that a colleague had done something that was below the board or below the standards of a judicial officer, the first thing I would do was confront that individual and let them know you have an opportunity to turn yourself in now, because if you don't do it, I will, especially if I'm obligated to do so. Because as I said, paramount in the position that we are all seeking as a Superior Court judge is confidence in the judiciary, and if that is sacrificed, we cannot effectively do our jobs.
Ashley Paulson is up, and Rosalina Nunez on deck.
This is actually a great question, and something that unfortunately I have seen and I have experienced in our Fresno County courtrooms. So this is a question I hold dear to my heart. If I were to see this behavior in court, I would address it immediately. I would first address it with that individual, and depending on the conduct, I would then report the conduct. We cannot stand for having unethical behavior in our courtrooms. We cannot stand for having disrespect and unprofessionalism in our courtrooms. I think that it's very important to hold people accountable and to make sure that everybody is treated with respect and following the law and the proper procedures in the courtroom.
Thank you. Rosalina Nunez is up. Mark Capitan is on deck.
That's an excellent question. Of course, public trust is the most important thing. One of the things I've learned through this campaign is that there is very little trust in our current judicial system. I am out speaking to people, and people are saying, why should we vote for anybody? They don't care about us. And so public trust is extremely important. If I find out that one of my colleagues, if another judge, another attorney is doing something that's unethical, I would ask questions. I'm not going to assume anything. I'm not going to depend on special relationships within the court. I would make sure that I knew all of the facts, the actual truth, and not make any assumptions. Everyone is allowed due process, and that goes even beyond the court. But within our court system, we are at an above standard, and so public trust, courtroom trust is extremely important, and I would definitely report it if I found out that someone was doing something that was unethical.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Capitan is up. On deck is Eddie Ruiz.
Kevin, ethics is everything. My dad was a Marine colonel. I'm the son of a Marine colonel. Ethics, honesty, duty is everything to me and my family. It's everything that I think a judge owes to the citizenry too. If there is a violation by an attorney, there are rules that we must report, and I would not hesitate to report. The discussions, the negotiations, if you believe a person has committed an offense, it is your duty by the judiciary and by the bar rules to report. I think it's owed to the citizens. It's exactly what I talked about earlier. Accountability, not only for the people that we have in court, but also accountability for the judges themselves to the citizens, and also to make sure that the attorneys are practicing so that you, the citizens, are getting what you are owed.
All right, thank you very much. Eddie Ruiz is up. Noel Pabet is on deck.
I agree with basically all the comments given regarding this issue. Integrity, honesty, those are paramount to our judicial system. I've always said that our system is the best there is, but what happens is individuals do not follow their ethics, do not follow honesty, basic values, and that's where the problems arise. I would want to determine what the facts are, because everybody deserves their due process, if you will, and based on that, I would report it if it's a reportable offense. I would probably go to the presiding judge to let them know and communicate that, because this isn't something that you do behind the the doors or under the rug. Integrity, honesty is paramount to our judicial system, and as I said, I agree with everybody else what they've said, and you have to have integrity. You got to have strong values.
Thank you. Noel Pabet is up. Miles Harris, you are on deck.
So I believe that integrity and honesty and ethical obligations are the cornerstone of our judicial system. If someone has committed a violation, we have an obligation and a duty to report it. At the beginning of every year, the State Bar sends the judicial officers a reminder that we have a requirement to report that type of behavior. And I will follow the rules and the law when it comes to that. First, I would determine all the information that I would get, that I could find. I would let my presiding judge know, and that's with respect to an attorney or even a colleague. My presiding judge has the right to know what's happening in their courtroom first, and that's to preserve the integrity of the entire system, both so we can have continued public trust. After reporting it to my presiding judge, I report it to the bar just as I am required to by the rule of law. Thank you.
Thank you. Miles Harris, on deck, Jennifer Smith.
There have been so many good answers, and I agree with them all. The bench requires the highest standard of ethics, highest standard of honesty. You're an example. You're an example to the attorneys that come in your courtroom, and you're an example to the members of the public, and you want their trust. The public's trust is the foundation of the judicial officer's position. If I were to be aware of an ethical violation, I would do my best, if I knew firsthand of it, to report it right away. There is a process and there is constructs that are followed for the right organizations to do their own investigation. I would not take it upon myself to do my investigation. I would not take it upon myself to take a side if I knew firsthand. And I think all judicial officers need to be held to that standard.
Thank you. Jennifer Smith is up. Jennifer Hamilton, on deck.
When I first started in the practice of law, my father, who was a doctor here in Fresno, told me, he says, you know, you don't realize this, but you have to be beyond reproach. That means that you have to have the highest level of integrity where, you know, you're not even questioned because you're coming to the table showing that you are going to do the right thing, even when no one is looking. So if someone were to show unethical behavior, one of the things I would do was find out, okay, is there a backstory? Because we are human. We have flaws. We're not perfect. Things could be going on in their story that we don't know about that could cause them to falter, to fail, to stumble. And once that is made known, then yes, I would report them to the appropriate agency and hope that they can get the support and the services that they need to get back on track. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Hamilton is up next, and then you'll stay up here for the next question. It'll be number one.
All right, so is it the ethical question?
Yes.
So again, I follow all my colleagues that have such amazing answers. I echo all of my colleagues. There's so many different options of what you can do, and I appreciate the different suggestions. We are bound by canons as judicial officers. We do have ethical obligations. As a sitting officer, I am required to take judicial ethics courses. When I was a practicing attorney, I was required to take ethics courses. I can tell you in my courtroom, if I see something, typically I'll give a warning. So for instance, if I have parties, and I have a family law department, so it can get pretty heated. Just for instance, one person called an attorney by their first name, and I stopped them and I said, you need to call the attorney by Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so. I don't want to give their names, but so to address it that way. After that, with the investigation that takes place, you really then decide which path you need to go to, whether it's counseling or talking to like Ms. Smith, or whether it's actually reporting. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to keep you up there, and then on deck is Mark Capitan. And the question is this: if you believe a law is unjust but constitutional, how would you rule?
So as judicial officers, our number one job is to follow the law. we are required to follow the law. We are required to weigh the evidence that's been presented to us. And so that's in the form of testimony, that's in the form of documentary evidence. And once we've weighed the credibility of that evidence, we have to apply the law as it is written. We cannot change the law. We cannot make up something because we think it's more fair. We're required to follow the law.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Capitan is up, followed by Rosalina Nunez.
Yeah, Kevin, an interesting question. If I think a law is unjust, listen, if it's constitutional, the Constitution is the ultimate law of the land. We have to follow the Constitution. It's abrogated many times. I guess part of the issue that you're asking is whether it is unjust to the victim or unjust to the defendant. Because the victim under the California Constitution, Article 28, also has rights under the Constitution. You have to follow the Constitution. If a law is unjust, but it's constitutional, I guess you're asking me if I agree with the law or not, if I think it owes a duty somehow differently to the defendant or the victim. If it is unjust, you have to ask yourself, is it unconstitutional? If it's unconstitutional, you can't follow it. You have to basically make a ruling that you may be appealed on, but you have to make that decision, and then you have to move on.
Thank you. Rosalina Nunez on deck, Ashley Paulson.
Thank you. So if I am on the bench and there's someone in front of me and I have to rule and I believe it is unjust, it is not my role to stray from the law. You have to follow the law. The Constitution is there for a reason. We have to uphold it. It is the most important document that we have in our amazing country. And so we have to uphold the Constitution. As a judge, it is not your job to become a king or a queen or to legislate. It is not your job to do that. You have to abide by what your role is and not let it take over. You must uphold the Constitution.
Thank you. Ashley Paulson on deck, Stephen Olson.
As a judge, my job would be to follow the law. It would be a really scary world we would live in if judges could change the law based on their opinion. So whether or not I agree with the law, that does not matter. My job is to follow the law, whether or not I agree with it. That's what I would do. A judge's job is not to legislate from the bench, so I would rule based on what the law is, as long as it was constitutional.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up is Stephen Olson, and on deck, Curtis Sock.
So yes, it's unfortunate on some of these questions that several people get to answer in advance because a lot of these answers are correct. It is not the judge's role to change the law from the bench. It is their job to apply the law as it is written. Now there are, when we say a law that is maybe unjust, but it is constitutional, a valid law, it is also important for a judge to look at all of the laws to determine, because there are safeguards in California law that allow for judges some discretion if something is in the interests of justice to deviate from one law to apply that statute that's in the interest of justice, that something may be stricken, for instance, in criminal law. And that would be the role of the judge, not to change the law, but to look at that law and any other laws that may apply that can guide towards the just result, because ultimately the judge's job is to apply the law as it is written, but that also includes laws that may give the judges the discretion to act in the interest of justice.
Thank you. Curtis Sock coming up, Eddie Ruiz on deck.
Thank you. As all my distinguished colleagues has answered, the first question I would ask is, who is this unjust for or unjust to? We have a very diverse groups, opinions in our society. And our legislature are the one who makes law. And they were voted by voters because we are the representative government. Judge's job is to apply the law to the facts and follow the law within the frame of Constitution. As long as it's constitutional, we must follow the law. If I were to inject my personal opinion and belief, then I'm no longer a judge. I become a politician, and I refuse to become a politician as a judge. I want to carry the justice based on law, and if people don't like the law, they can vote and change the law through legislature. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Noel Pabet is on deck.
The most basic duty and responsibility of a judicial officer is to apply the law to a set of facts. Now, you as a judge may determine what the set of facts are, but the law is the law, and that's the way it should be. We have to stay in our lane. There's no deviating from that. There's processes, appeal processes that a party can take to determine whether there's some constitutional issue or not. But it really is black and white. Certainly for me, you apply the law to a set of facts. Thank you.
Thank you. On deck, Miles Harris.
So the question pertained to an unjust but constitutional law. And so I echo the sentiments of several of my colleagues before. My role is to follow the law. I don't have to like it. Sometimes I don't even have to agree with the result. But my job is to follow the law. My opinion does not matter. In fact, that's why there is a canon that we have to abide by where we cannot express our opinions as judicial officers. For the last 7 years, I've been issuing judgments and rulings, and I have made some that I was not happy about, but I was following the law because that's my job. I'm not here to interject my feelings or my opinions, but rather to follow the law because that's how we keep everything even for everyone. And that's how we have justice, is to follow the law. I took an oath when I took the office that I'm in right now to follow the California and the United States Constitution, and I have been doing that for the last 7 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Miles Harris is up. Jennifer Smith on deck.
It's important that judges, when they're sworn in, part of their oath is to uphold the law. That's one of their fundamental duties. And when a judge starts to input their own opinions, it takes away from that impartiality. Okay? It makes a separate set of laws for different people. And then that affects the integrity of the bench. As was stated by many of my colleagues, a judge's duty is not to legislate. That's what legislatures do. And that's a separate opportunity you have as voters to go to the ballot box. But as a judge, we must uphold the law that's before us and continue to learn it and be up on what the latest law is.
Thank you. Jennifer Smith.
Thank you. I agree with my colleagues. We have to follow the law. The laws that may be on the books may be unconstitutional, but again, we have to follow what is there using the facts that are before us. If we have to take it a step further, that's where the legislature comes in, and that's where we do the lobbying and allow others to advocate for a change in the law. It is important to remember that for a judge, we would have roles of judicial canons. We have to follow the judge's code of canons, and we have to make sure that we uphold those judicial codes, as well as any of the other codes that require us to respect the law and to follow the law and uphold the law. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, we're going to start with Noel Pabet this time, and on deck will be Miles Harris. Here's the question. Do you have a favorite judge on the United States Supreme Court? If so, why?
Wow, that's a tough one. You know, that job is so important and instrumental in our justice system. Do I have one right now? I'd have to say, while not currently on the bench, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was someone I admired. I admired the strides that she made for women. I may not have always agreed with her opinions, but she always was one that listened to all the parties. And she was able to reach across the aisle with individuals who had different opinions and come to results. So while I may have disagreed with her at times, I admired her spirit, her passion for the law, and her passion for our justice system, and for the amount of time and effort she dedicated to it, because it's incredibly important to our country and our legal system.
Thank you. Miles Harris is up. Jennifer Smith is on deck.
You know, I respect all the justices that serve on our Supreme Court. I don't have a favorite, and I'll tell you why. Because I think it's important the diverse personalities we have on there. The Supreme Court serves a little bit of a different role than our trial courts do. And while we still have legislators and legislators that we elect to make the law, okay, a lot of law is made and changed at the Supreme Court level. If that's going to happen, I want differing backgrounds. I want differing experience. I want all of that input to come together to come up with the most fair resolution so that we have just and constitutional laws. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Smith is up. On deck is Mark Capitan.
Well, in terms of someone who I admired, there were quite a few, starting with Thurgood Marshall, because he opened up the doors and paved the way for many people in America to go forward and achieve educational opportunities that they probably would not have had otherwise. Sandra Day O'Connor is another one. Ketanji Brown Jackson is another one. There are quite a few who have served this country and shown us that as a country, we can make laws that apply to all of us, and that we can work together if necessary in order to make for a better America.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up now is Mark Capitan, and on deck, Rosalina Nunez.
Yeah, it's Kevin, this is simple for me. I think on the bench right now, Justice Thomas. I believe that Justice Thomas shows that you could be colorblind, you could have conservative ideals, and don't have to follow the typical trends that you may see in the media. Justice Scalia, he was a constitutionalist, no longer on the bench, obviously he passed away. Strict constructionist when it comes to the Constitution. And most importantly, because it's personal to me, is Sandra Day O'Connor. For my sister-in-law's birthday one day, she's a judge, Christy Capitan, I got an autographed picture from Sandra Day O'Connor for her, and it meant so much to my sister-in-law, and it should mean so much to all the women out there, because she was an inspiration to all the women.
Thank you. Yeah. Up next, Rosalina Nunez. On deck, Ashley Paulson.
I believe the question was the current bench, correct?
It could be any.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I thought the question was the current, so that's what I thought of. But the current bench, I would have to say Justice Sonia Sotomayor. I admire her work. I admire her writing. I admire the fact that she sticks to the law. She respects precedent. And so that would be my choice. However, I admire many judges. Even locally here, there are many judges that I love being in front of. I know that I'm going to walk into a courtroom that is respectful, that is in control, that is managed timely, and that has respect for all the parties involved. I appreciate when judges prepare, have an even temperament, and so I respect all of and admire all of those qualities. Thank you.
Thank you. Up is Ashley Paulson. On deck is Stephen Olson.
believe we need to give respect to everyone who has served in that position. They got there for a reason. If I have to choose a favorite, I would choose Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. She's an inspiration to all of the women in the legal field. She is not just an inspiration to the women in the legal field, but women all around our country. And Sandra Day O'Connor would be my pick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On deck, Curtis Sock.
So I'm glad that we got to choose not just current members of the bench. My favorite Supreme Court justice would be Justice Anthony Kennedy. I have admittedly a little bit of a bias. I got to meet him and I took a class from him that was taught in Austria back in 2007 on fundamental rights in Europe and the United States. The reason he is my favorite is because for years, there's an argument that he was one of the most powerful people in the United States because he was the swing vote on the United States Supreme Court, which gave him the ability to, many times in 5-4 decisions that came out while he was on the bench, to make the decision that would shape what the law would be in the United States. And it gave him the power because he would take each issue by issue to vote on the Supreme Court in the way that he saw was the most just and the correct answer as he interpreted the Constitution of the United States. We have almost all of us taken a duty to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and he made those decisions as a justice when he was on that decision, on that court, even if it was an unpopular decision, to protect those constitutional rights.
Thank you. Curtis Sock. On deck, Jennifer Hamilton.
I would say I don't have any favorites on current bench, and it's because this is why. When the issue's up, even I can predict what the outcome will be. Because our justice is so divided, so partisan, because our Congress cannot work together and got rid of 60-vote mandate to elect justice. So justice we vote is along the party line. But I tell you, one judge I admire for his gutsy move. That's Justice Roberts. For the Obama health care, he knew how unpopular it would be for his base, which is Republican who got him up there. And he voted based on different ground, but he knew millions of people will suffer from both sides, lose health care if he doesn't pass that. I admire that. I hope that Roberts will continue to do that, because he's the leader of the court after all, and he can show us the true, what is true to be a justice, a judge, not a politician. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Hamilton.
Well, I think I can speak for all my colleagues here. Justice Scalia was like the first brief I read in law school in our books. I don't know if they have books anymore. My answer is Justice Sandra O'Connor. She was just an amazing trailblazer for women. The fact that she was respected amongst both of the parties, the fact that she was patient and fair, she was calm, she didn't exercise her judicial abilities and judicial strength in any type of way that was offensive, and just a tremendous woman and a tremendous trailblazer.
All right, thank you so much. Well, we got through 5 questions today with 10 candidates. I want to thank everybody that is here. I want to thank those of you that are watching. I believe that Pastor Lewis, do you have any closing remarks or anything you'd like to say? I'm it. Okay. Well, we promised you guys would be out of here by 5:10. It's 5:06. So you guys are going to get to some of your other meetings that you have here this evening. Thank you again. For those of you that are watching, I want to tell you it's an extremely difficult thing to run and be a candidate for an office. And so I admire you all running for these judge seats and appreciate you being here this evening. God bless you and good luck on your races. Thank you.